CharityWatch has recently issued an alert for a charity by the name of Pilots N Paws. Now, this is an animal rescue charity that doesn't get involved directly in rescuing the animals themselves. Rather, they host a web-based forum to facilitate these rescues. My name is Laurie Styron. I'm the CEO and Executive Director of CharityWatch. And if you wait till the end of this video, you can click directly on the article that we have written that provides much more detail about this charity and our concerns. So the thing that really stuck out to us when we analyzed this charity's 990 for Pilots N Paws is just how many assets they have relative to what they spend. So as of the end of 2024, they have a calendar year tax form. The charity had accumulated about $3.5 million of net assets. And yet they don't spend very much every year. So in 2024, for example, they only spent about $242,000. The prior year, it was about $261,000. So we did write the charity in mid-July. As of today, August 11th, we have not heard back from them. We contacted them via US mail and email, and we have not received a response. But one of the things we asked is, for what purpose are you accumulating all of these assets? Do you have a spend down plan? Will some of this cash be transferred to another charity if you are not able to spend it all yourselves? Because as we all know, money is not a finite resource. If there's one charity that's accumulating a lot of funds, there's a lot of other charities that could maybe use those funds, right, in the animal rescue space, and they don't have enough money, enough funds to do all of the work that they would like to do. So understanding what they're doing or what their plans are for these funds is really important. One thing I want to mention is sometimes a charity might appear to have a lot of assets, but those assets are in land, building, and equipment, or they're in some sort of infrastructure that is not liquid, right? So they're not drowning in cash, right? But because it's important to understand the composition of those assets. But in this case, just under 3.3 million of it is, or no, actually a little more than that, about $254,000 of cash, non-interest bearing, and then savings and temporary cash investments of about over 3.2 million. So pretty much all of it is cash. So why are they sitting on what we computed to be over 14 years worth of available assets? Meaning, if they stopped raising one additional penny of revenue based on 2024 expenses, they could continue to exist at that year's spending levels for 14 years without raising another penny. So the cash is not the only issue that we found. The board is also quite small. And in addition to that, just looking at my notes here, the charity reports having a conflict of interest policy in place, a written conflict of interest policy, but it doesn't have a policy or it doesn't have a process for monitoring and enforcing that policy, and doesn't regularly do so. So a policy is only as good as the board's efforts to monitor and enforce it. So that's a concern. So there's a lot of other unanswered questions here that we get into in our article, but that's a brief overview. If you work in the animal rescue space, or this is a cause that you donate to, this is worth a look, just to kind of understand how Pilots N Paws fits into the whole picture. If you happen to be a donor to this organization, or if you donate to an org that maybe donates to this organization indirectly, it's important to understand what's going on with the money, their level of accountability. They're too small to have audited financial statements to be required in most states. So we don't have access to an independent audit either. And that makes it a big question mark. Please read our article for more information, and I do hope this was helpful. Thanks, everyone.